coming up. Saving Lives in Salford, the new health project which brings together the whole community. The lights are switched on, it must be the start of the festive season. And meet Sweetie, who's cleaning up her act for charity.
And find out why this little puppy caused such a stir at a charity dog wash on Wednesday and which star celebrity she got to meet.
Hello and welcome to Quays TV News. I'm Sophie Whitfield. Mass protesters have been campaigning against austerity measures on the streets of Manchester city centre. They've also been demanding justice for taxpayers as similar marches took place in cities around the world. Penny James reports.
The People's Assembly and Anonymous joined forces on November 5th to protest against the government. The march focused on austerity measures and businesses who evade tax. November the 5th is famously a night for rebellion, and many don the iconic Guy Fawkes mask.
The 5th of November is traditionally associated with rebellion, with resistance. It's a long time ago, when Guy Fawkes was doing it, and today the issues are very different, but we've got a lot to rebel about.
There were people from all walks of life, and it was clear they are unhappy with the way the country is being run at the moment. We are all totally corrupt, says Tory MP Brian Binley.
Hundreds of people turned up today. The search made a lot of noise. When and how will it make a difference?
We're here because we're tired of being told that there is no alternative to austerity. We know that there is an alternative. We have an alternative. We've put it together ourselves through our democratic policy making process. There is an alternative. We want to put it into action. So we're here tonight to try and give people a bit of hope that they don't have to put up with this anymore.
They made a noise and raised awareness, but we'll soon find out if it makes a difference. Penny James, Quays TV News.
Professionals from schools and businesses are being urged to work with health chiefs to help save lives in Salford. Organisers of the project say the message is that improving health is a task for the whole community. Tiffany Sweeney reports.
Connecting people together from different organisations, whether it is community services, university, council or the hospital, each bring great ideas. Halo is combining these skills to make Salford a healthier place. 1 in 5 of Salford's children will end up smoking. Halo has launched a new joint venture with Salford Royal NHS Foundation Trust and Salford CCG to improve health and healthcare in Salford and to reduce statistics such as these.
Ultimate goal is to make Salford the healthiest city and share how we do it with the world. So a real explicit need to be able to shift from where we are now, which is one of the cities with the most health challenges, to ones where health and wealth are a characteristic of our city.
There is a lot of work going on in the background, and we do over the next 5 years want to see a huge improvement in how people live longer.
The event earlier this week at Salford Royal Hospital demonstrated how Halo with Salford Clinical Commissioning Group have developed regional and national partnerships to share their learning. They aim to work with the industry and mainly with digital companies who can help support their ambition and deliver high quality safe care and ultimately to prevent illness.
We're particularly interested in this project because it will bring together primary care, hospital sector, research and development and the local authority together to collectively improve the population's health. What we've begun with is to create a project to improve vascular screening of the population. So many people in Salford die or get ill unnecessarily through not managing high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And we think there's a project we can accelerate to address that and improve the life expectancy of many groups in Salford who wouldn't otherwise benefit from such treatment.
In some areas in Salford, people will live 11 years longer than they will in other areas of Salford, so we want to get that kind of information and education across to everybody so that everybody in Salford has an equal chance of living a really happy, fulfilled life.
Tiffany Sweeney, Quays TV News.
Children from Salford have been working to transform a subway that links 2 estates by using spray paint. The youngsters are from Dutchy and Earlham on the Heights and have been spending 5 days working alongside experts after securing a £5,000 grant. The murals show pictures from a traditional Romany caravan and a horse. Television was once so simple, one set per house, 3 channels, and they all switched off before midnight to the sound of the national anthem. But that's all changed, with sets in bedrooms, kitchens, and access on computers and tablets. There are more channels you can possibly count, and they're broadcasting 24 hours a day. Our reporter Sophie Dulson has been looking ahead to where television goes next.
Aesthetically, the television box has changed through the ages, from the robust 12-inch 1930s model to the slick HD widescreens we have in our homes today. So just how far have we come?
If we were to rewind to the year 2003, this is where we were. People predicted linear television would be dead, social media hadn't broke, YouTube didn't even exist, and the average broadband speed was only 128 kilobyte.
10 years on, where are we now? Many consumers have taken the digital migration to the online realm, and the way they engage with and consume television is rapidly changing. From video on demand to video on the go, from iPhones to online TV networks, we are living through a revolution in the way television is delivered to the public. New technologies have been put into place and are likely to take existing trends even further, as viewers expect more choice and greater freedom. So much so, the way in which we produce and deliver television news is likewise changing irrevocably.
I think there's always going to be an argument for presenting curated news. So on Granada Reports, we are presenting to you what we consider to be most relevant and most important to people living in the Northwest. And that's very much kind of curated by us and presented in that way. And I think that still complements the kind of online world where you can get stuff that is more personal to you.
Following the dawn of the digital age, social media is often the frontrunner for engaging primetime television viewers and bringing the online conversation directly into their homes. Chris Goldson, ITV's Creative Sales Director, talks us through some of the social media interventions.
Yeah, the growth of social has made a massive difference to TV in terms of the way that you can engage with an audience. There's something about people watching television together and sharing socially, and I think that television makes social media the live water cooler.
75 years ago, the television was introduced with awe. Nobody truly believed it would change the way we view the world. Now people are more attached to their TVs than ever, and broadcasters and producers alike are continually thinking of new ways to bring big entertainment and news to the small screens. This is Sophie Dulson, reporting for Quays TV News.
Now over to Kate Emery with entertainment news.
Thanks, Sophie. Manchester is feeling festive this week with 2 Christmas light switch-ons. James Arthur will be performing in Albert Square tonight, where everything kicks off at 7 o'clock. The council has spent £900,000 on new lights, which it says will give light for all seasons. Last night, the Trafford Centre had its own switch-on, and we caught up with some of the performers.
The Into Trafford Centre Christmas Light Switch On is a massive event for the North West. It's such a central location for most of the North West to come shopping.
I remember when the Trafford Centre opened, I'm showing my age now, but you know, to be back here and performing for everyone at the Trafford Centre is amazing.
You know, it's a great night for everyone. It gets you into the Christmas spirit, and I think it's important that every place has, you know, a Christmas light switch on. To be in a place like this, in the Trafford Centre, is absolutely amazing.
We're thrilled to be here to help push that button.
I'm just excited, I've never done this before.
Now joining me in the studio is our film critic, Will. Now, you're talking about Philomena this week, Will. So is this one of that I'm going to have the tissues out for?
Well, I'm not ashamed to say that I did cry a little bit during this movie. It is one of those, a very sad, true story, but very uplifting and moving story. It tells the story of Judi Dench's character, she plays Philomena, who is trying to find her son who was taken away from her 50 years ago. And she gets help from Steve Coogan, who is a journalist at the BBC, who's trying to tell this true life story. And what really makes this movie work is that it has an incredible screenplay. It's that the movie is constantly evolving and changing as the character dynamics evolve and everything happens around them and changes. And it's such some incredible performances by Judi Dench, who's normally, we normally see her play very stern and stoic characters, but here she really opens herself up to play a very vulnerable and human character. She's undoubtedly a British old lady, and it's very touching and very charming in that respect. And Steve Coogan, who's very known for playing big comedic characters, has a very understated performance here, and he's great as well. I think the movie's a bit too British for it to have a chance at the Oscars, and this year has been a very mixed year in terms of British films, but I think that Philomena will sweep the BAFTAs in terms of nominations, and it may even win a few of them.
And what's the relationship like between Judi Dench and Steve Coogan? Because I've not seen them on screen together.
Yeah, they work really well together. It's a very funny movie, but it's not a comedy. It is a very human story, and these are two human characters who bring out the best in each other without sacrificing who they really are. They don't completely change throughout the movie, which is a very realistic approach. And Philomena is really a must-see movie, and it's one of the 2013's best.
Thanks very much, Will. That sounds like a good one. It's that time of year again when men are proudly showing off their moustaches for the Movember campaign, which raises awareness of prostate and testicular cancer. On Sunday, Heaton Park will host Mo Running, where men and women will run in fancy dress to raise money.
Mo Running in Manchester, it's the second year we're here, 5k and 10k runs supporting Movember. We are expecting 1,000+ runners in Manchester this year, and hopefully we'll raise across all the Mo runs over 300 to maybe £400,000.
Yes, we're lending a paw to the dogs of Salford as they were pampered EastEnders style. Among them, Sean Williamson, as you can see here. The dog wash helped raise money for BBC Children in Need appeal. Nice to see them looking so spruced up. Our entertainment reporter Lucinda Parker has been catching up with Louise Boyer and her dog Sweetie, who's looking very clean indeed.
It's a charity dog wash for children in need that's going to go out next Friday, but also it's run by a charity that it's Dogs in Salford, and any dogs that's lost, they rescue them and try and reunite them with their owners, but they promote chipping dogs, so that was free as well, which normally you pay quite a bit at the vets.
I heard she caused a bit of a stir.
She was a bit naughty, but I think she was a bit frightened, so she was very vocal, shouting at everybody, weren't you?
So who actually washed her? What star celebrity was it?
It was well, not much of a celebrity. It was the guy that used to play Barry in EastEnders.
Yeah, Sean
Williamson. Yeah. Then the other guy was John Partridge.
Plays Christian.
Yeah, that's the one.
Thanks, Kate. Now over to Matt Tate with the sport.
Thanks, Sophie. Now after Thanks, Sophie. Now, after several high-profile gaffes, Joe Hart has been replaced as the Manchester City goalkeeper. In comes Costel Pantilimon, who did a commendable job last season, helping City to the FA Cup final. And after a late save to keep the Blues in the Capital One Cup, he's been rewarded with a number 1 jersey. Here's what the fans had to say.
I'm a massive Joe Hart fan, but I think Manuel Pellegrini commented this week that he was taking him out of the limelight a bit. He's played every game in Premier League game for 2.5 years. It's maybe the right time to not only rest him, but to give Pantilimon a shot.
The manager's handled it perfectly well. Pantilimon deserves his chance. He's never let them down. He's been, well, I think he's a good goalkeeper. He can't be a Romanian international goalkeeper for nothing.
I think he's just made the right decision. He's due for a rest, as he called it. He's still a brilliant goalkeeper, and he'll be back as the number 1 shortly, I think.
So, as we all know then, Matt, Joe Hart's been dropped from City, but we've also got another big game this week with United, so who do you think's in to win for that one?
We have, Sophie. Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, who currently lead the Premier League table, will be travelling to Old Trafford on Sunday. It's going to be a strange one for Arsene Wenger, who's already commented on the occasion being different without Sir Alex in charge. But I'm sure David Moyes will be hoping to get his first victory against Wenger as United boss.
Well, here's hoping we have another win for United. Thank you very much for that, Matt. And of course, you can follow all the sport news on Twitter at Quays News. Now for the weather, it's Helen Rowe Wilcox. Sorry about that. We've got some technical difficulties, but you can always catch that online on quaysnews.net. So that's all now, and we'll be back here next Friday, and thank you for watching us. Goodbye.